My name is Suzanne Schindler, and I'm an assistant professor of neurology at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you for having me participate today. So, I've been interested in Alzheimer's disease for a long time, since high school. I first became interested because a close friend of mine, her mother developed the early onset form of the disease. And so I heard from my friend about how devastating the disease was, and I wanted to do something about it. I'd always been interested in science. And so I started learning about Alzheimer's disease. And during college, I did several summer internships doing lab research on Alzheimer's disease. And I just became more and more interested in it. And then after I graduated from college, I entered the MD PhD program at Washington University because it had an excellent reputation in studying Alzheimer's disease. And there were some investigators there that I was interested in. So I did my PhD in the laboratory of Dr. David Holtzman, and I studied basic lipid biology of apolipoprotein E, mostly working in mouse models and with cells. And then after I finished my PhD, I went back and did my clinical training, including a neurology residency. And I had always planned to go back to the basic science lab. I enjoyed working in the lab, but it became clear to me that I was really quite interested in clinical questions and applying science to clinical questions. So I got a K23 award, Career Development Award, and retooled myself. I learned statistical programming and uh, learned more about how to do clinical research. And then I started studying biomarkers of Alzheimer's disease. So I thought that biomarkers was a really important area for a number of reasons. One, they've really told us a lot about the biology of the disease. Uh, the second is they're very useful in diagnosis, and I actually use them in clinic to diagnose my patients. So I liked doing research on something that I was actually using in the clinic. And the third is really I want to develop treatments that are effective for Alzheimer's disease. That's really my major goal. And I've come to realize that biomarkers are really essential to finding effective therapies. They're used in a variety of different ways in clinical trials to identify people who have early brain changes of Alzheimer's disease, to monitor whether a drug's effective. Um, and I really think they're an essential part of being able to find a drug that works. So for all of those reasons, I've really focused my career on biomarkers of Alzheimer's disease. And there's a lot of different aspects of that. I've become increasingly interested in blood-based biomarkers because they're so practically useful, much more practical than fancy brain scans or doing lumbar punctures. Those are really key research tools, but in the clinic, it's just easier to do a blood test if that's possible. And I just recently got my first RO1, which is quite exciting, to look at several different blood-based biomarkers of Alzheimer's disease and to see if we can use these markers to predict who and when is going to get dementia. And then, of course, to use these biomarkers to help us improve diagnosis as well as aid us in the search for effective therapies. So, and then along the way, I've had a couple kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And so I've been balancing kids and career, which is can be challenging, but I'm very happy with all the various things I'm doing right now. I am still seeing patients in a dementia clinic a day a week, and I attend in the hospital about a month of the year, and also help with some resident clinics. So it's a very full life, but I feel very fulfilled, and I'm excited because I feel like I'm doing what I had really dreamed of doing back in high school when I wanted to make a difference in this disease.